Season 4, Episode 32 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers in loving memory of my laptop, which is no longer usable. Jonathan, I know we like to celebrate the champions on this podcast, but we have to mourn whatever the exact opposite of a champion is today. Tony Stubblefield was let go from his job at DePaul. What were your initial reactions to this news?
Seemed very NIL based, at least timing wise. Seemed like DePaul wasn't able to pull in any sort of NIL while Stubblefield was still their coach. I mean, I don't know many people that thought it was a good hire when it was made. And now, less than 2 years later?
Year three.
Less than 3 years later, it's a obvious mistake. I didn't expect there to be that much discourse about the actual job in itself when the news broke, but there was. I was surprised by that.
We'll get into that in a moment, but DePaul is going to be coached by Matt Brady for the remainder of this season. They are the worst team in the Big East. They are a borderline top 275 KenPom team. That would put them in the bottom half of the MAC. It's just it's worth considering just how bad it has gotten for DePaul that a win in the Big East would be extremely surprising.
Usually a borderline miracle.
Usually you could count on at least 1 or 2 wins a year, even at DePaul. They were 6-14 2 years ago. They weren't awful. They've never been this bad, even under Leitao and Purnell, and they were never this bad. This is their worst season in program history on KenPom, and it's not even close. 279th right now. Their only wins, and we did this last time, are South Dakota, Louisville, and Chicago State. They just lost by 14 at Butler. They lost by 38 last week against Providence. DePaul is number 11 in the Big East in offense. They are number 11 in the Big East in defense. Their defensive rating in the Big East Conference is 8 points worse than anybody else. Their offensive rating in the Big East Conference is 13 points worse than anybody else. Also, how did it get this bad?
Just for reference, by the way, Louisville last year was 290 to finish the season in KenPom. DePaul is currently 279. So, not too far off from the season-long joke that was Louisville last year. How did it get this bad? I think it's pretty simple. DePaul targets the wrong players. They try to go after players that are probably too out of their reach. I had a whole kind of debate / discussion with TJ and a couple others today. Chicago talent is not what it used to be at the high school level. Not even close. There's not a plethora of players that DePaul can just go choose from anymore. They have to be selective. And if you know you're not going to be able to get the top players that are actually worth high majors in Chicago, gotta kind of find the gems and develop them. And DePaul hasn't done a very good job at all of doing that. So I think they need to hire a coach that is really good development-wise and also really good with X's and O's. Because, let's face it, you're not going to out-talent other teams in the Big East. And the other coaches in the league are really, really good. So you need to find someone that can at least run really good shit and make them a competent basketball team. This is going to take a while. This is not an overnight fix.
No, it's not an overnight thing because DePaul is not a very well-supported program monetarily. They don't have a big NIL budget. They don't have great facilities. They don't play on campus. They don't draw. They're not a moneymaker. Nobody in Chicago cares about them. There's no coverage. like, but for all the reasons that I just said, there is potential to grow, because with that, you're still a Big East program. Kids will still want to play in the Big East if they play for if you get the right coach in there. And I think that's the key. You got to get the right coach in there. You got to get someone who is capable of developing these kids to a high level. And I understand that Tony Stubblefield was a great assistant at Oregon, but he was an assistant at Oregon. You've got to get a guy who's been the head coach, who's been a head man somewhere, someone who's recruited, someone who's developed, someone who's been the guy to draw up the play at the end of the game. And that guy, I think we all agree, DePaul should go after Josh Schertz from Indiana State.
Yeah, I had no doubt about that. Brian Wardle would probably be a close second for me, just because, like, at least you know that he's going to come in, insert his system right away, and, like, he obviously knows the area. He's coaching at Bradley. So, but Josh Schertz, like, guy is incredible. Runs great actions. Their spacing is great over there at Indiana State. He doesn't need to, like, I think the mistake that people are gonna make is saying, like, DePaul needs to find someone who can recruit. No, they don't. They need to find someone who can coach. Like, if you go out, get players, develop them, and start to worry about competing before you worry about, like, actually winning. Like, this can't all happen at once. It has to be a process.
I think that DePaul needs to hire a coach that's going to bring an established identity of what type of basketball they want to play, an established identity of the types of kids that they want to recruit, established process for developing guys, and an established game plan to go into a game and beat the other team. I don't think that there's anybody that exemplifies those ideas better than Josh Schertz, because of what he's been able to do, not just at Indiana State, but at the Division II level. He's just a winner. So he knows how to develop talent. He did it in the days of before the transfer portal in Division II ball. He's done it in the days of the transfer portal in Division I ball. He's recruited. He's gotten great transfers. He's developed everybody. I think that Josh Schertz is a slam dunk. I honestly think he should be getting a better job than DePaul. That's my one concern.
I actually agree with that. I don't think, like, people will quite pull the trigger on him because, you know, some ADs are idiots, and the matter of the fact is that Josh Schertz was at a Division II, Division III program like
Division
3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think there's that part of it.
Hey, Kalen DeBoer was an NAIA coach. Now he's coaching Alabama.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I just went out.
Yeah. I said Kalen DeBoer was an NAIA coach. Now he's coaching Alabama.
Yeah, no, that personally doesn't bother me. I just think that some ADs...
I'm just saying that people need to realize that every level of basketball, you still have to recruit, you still have to develop, you still have to run good stuff, because coaches are smart, players are good. And you gotta win. Like, you gotta win. Winners win.
Like, Trilly tweeted today 5 names he expected to be at least considered for the DePaul job, just talked about within their athletic office. Josh Schertz, Bryce Drew, who's at Grand Canyon, Ryan Mullins, who's at Southern Illinois, Will Wade, obviously at McNeese, we'll get to them in a second, and then Bobby Hurley. Are there any names on there that you feel would be a mistake?
I wouldn't take the job if I were Bryce Drew.
I agree.
And I think Bobby Hurley would be a mistake. I just don't think...
I kind of think Bryce Drew would be a mistake.
Oh, I agree, but I don't think he would take that job anyway.
If I had to power rank those 5 names,
Schertz, Wade, Mullins, Drew, Hurley.
I actually think I would put Hurley above Mullins.
Okay,
like, I don't think Bobby Hurley is a special coach.
I just don't
But
think there's any identity there.
I think he raises your floor as a coach.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see Brian Mullins like losing 25 games a year. You know, I can
I would
see.
tend to agree. I just
I
think
don't think I can see Hurley doing that either. But Mullins does that, and he does it cheaper.
my thing with Bobby Hurley is like, I know that when he got there, he would like year one, he would get them to play hard. Like they might not be any good, but at least they're playing hard.
I just don't. I don't think there's a ceiling with him.
I don't either, which is the pushback, obviously. But you also don't have to keep Bobby Hurley for life. Like if he gets them to a certain
But
point,
then you have to. But then you still have to make the next good hire.
well, DePaul hasn't hired a good coach in what, 40 years?
And asking them to hire 2 in a row.
2 in a row, yeah. Okay, that's fair. I just think you know what you're getting with him, and like
I do get your point though on Mullins. I'm not like a huge Mullins guy, but I'm also just not a big Bobby Hurley guy.
Regardless, like we agree that Schertz and Wade are the two like really good names on here.
Yeah, I think Wade gets a better job than that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I
think Wade probably gets West Virginia.
His thing is just like how much do people really care about what he did?
They don't. I'm telling you, they don't.
I mean, if Bruce Pearl can be at Auburn, like I'm sure
Chris Beard can be at Ole Miss,
I'm sure he'll find something.
Will Wade, I think, ends up getting West Virginia. Schertz could end up at DePaul. But again, I think that better jobs will come calling on Josh Schertz.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're not 100% sure what is and what isn't.
Yeah, no, who knows what's going to open? But Schertz will have options. And if he wants to stay, then he can stay. Are you there? Jonathan? All right, you're there.
My Wi-Fi's been acting up all night. I just turned on my hotspot.
Anyway, we do now have to shift the conversation to one of the basketball games of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really, really don't know how else to describe it.
I think that's actually a good description, because multiple times, like, I found myself sitting there watching it, and in my head, I'm just going, yeah, I'm watching a basketball game. This is a basketball game. I think.
The KenPom game MVP of this game scored 8 points.
It was wild.
We are, of course, talking about, combined free throws. Combined, the teams missed 20 free throws. They were 30 for 50 from the line. That's 60%. We are, of course, 20, talking about McNeese against Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
It felt like 16 of those 20 missed free throws were in the final, 2 minutes.
Yeah, because they might as well have been. So, Jonathan, what happened? Can you, if for the people that didn't watch this game, tell the people what happened in the last minute?
So,
how long do we have?
So, first of all, McNeese trailed by 1 at the half. And for those of you that don't know, aren't quite paying attention yet, McNeese basically needs to win every game in the regular season to have an at-large chance.
They are a team with former just multiple former high major players, and just a bunch of just guys that are just straight up way too good for that conference.
Let's put it this way. McNeese has what? I'm just eyeballing it here, 12 games left. Maybe a little more. But regardless,
12.
Today was their only game remaining that wasn't quad 4. Like, they cannot lose if they want a chance of an at-large, at least before your conference tournament. So, McNeese is trailing by 1 at the half. A&M Corpus Christi was doing a really nice job, I thought, breaking McNeese's press. And all of a sudden, like, to start the second half, Corpus Christi goes on, what was it, like an 18-0 run?
17-0. They were getting everything they wanted.
And I think
They
at one
were
point
moving
led
the ball
by
on offense. They were just getting to the basket with ease. They were hitting their threes. McNeese couldn't do anything. It really felt like McNeese was just out of it.
And I think it ended up being a 19-point lead was the largest it got for the Islanders. Like 59-40 was the largest it got. Or maybe 49-30. Something like that. But
50-32.
McNeese starts coming back. And at one point during the comeback, I think it was like an 8 or 7 point game at this point, you texted me and you're like, it feels like McNeese is like guaranteed to win this game.
Yes.
They were down 7 at this point.
They're down 7 on the road in the second half.
That's how good this team is compared to their competition. They are down 7 with like 5 minutes to go, and Sam texts me. He's like, McNeese is like absolutely winning this game.
Yeah.
And then we come down the stretch. McNeese like didn't really like even lead until like the final buzzer, I think, at least in the second half. And like the amount of missed free throws that just like went on in the final, like,
and bad shots too.
So here's how the final stretch of the game went.
Go.
McNeese is down 2, I think.
1?
Down 1. They miss a free throw to tie the game. A&M Corpus Christi gets fouled. I think they split the pair, right, to make it 2 again. Hold on, I need to pull up.
Yeah,
this game.
pull up the play-by-play because
you talk for
just the fact of the matter was, first 5 minutes of the second half,
things I've ever seen.
Corpus Christi was getting everything they wanted offensively. They were getting to the basket. They were moving the ball. Then after that, like, McNeese just started slowly chipping away. And, like, they were getting to the line. They were hitting some of their free throws. They hit some threes. They hit some of their – and they were just stifling Corpus Christi for, like, 13 minutes straight. Corpus Christi, all of a sudden, it was like there was a lid on the basket and there was, like, a protective gauze around the rim. Sorry, around the paint. They just couldn't enter the paint.
So here's what happens. Corpus Christi's got the ball, 30 seconds to go. They turn it over. Right?
It was a dumb turnover, too. I don't remember what it was, but it was dumb.
Shahada Wells misses a layup. Jordan Roberts grabs the rebound, starts dribbling it out, down 1, like trying to get fouled. And like...
Up 1? Up 1?
Down, Corpus Christi's up 1 at this point. McNeese is down. Yeah. Roberts, like, is trying to dribble it out, gets bumped a little bit, and then just, like, starts to lose his balance and just chucks the ball towards half court. McNeese steals it, and then gets fouled. This is a double bonus situation. Christian Shoemate misses both free throws with a chance to tie the game and then take the lead.
I think they were like, this is a 60% free throw shooter, but he is a playmaker. He's a winner. And I'm just like, yeah, let's see about that.
So Corpus Christi gets the rebound. They get fouled. Marion Humphrey goes to the line.
By the way, that is Marlon Humphrey's brother.
Actually?
Yes,
Did not know that. But he goes to the line, splits the pair. Shoemate gets the rebound off the second miss. 2-point game. McNeese has a chance to tie. They outlet the ball to Saunders, and with 4 seconds left on the, I actually think it was 3.2 to be exact on the clock. Jordan Roberts just fouls Mike Saunders, like in a 2-point game. So Saunders now goes to the line.
It was an intentional foul too. Like, it wasn't even like on a shot. It was just straight up intentional foul. It was one of the funniest moments of the season.
So Saunders goes to the line, chance to tie the game, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, because of what just happened, he's making both free throws. Like, absolutely. No way he's missing one of these. He makes the first. Corpus Christi calls timeouts to freeze him. He comes out, misses the second. McNeese then gets the offensive rebound.
The ball is loose on the floor. McNeese grabs it. And Tavian Column misses. And then Christian Shoemate just dunks it home at the buzzer. And McNeese wins the basketball game that nobody wanted to win.
Both teams tried their hardest to, like, absolutely lose this game. Like,
they fouled him with 3 seconds left in a 2-point game.
McNeese, like, legit came back down 18 and then all of a sudden decided, like, good comeback, good effort, guys. We're done for the night.
Yeah, the comeback didn't even feel like that impressive.
No, it was like, I didn't think McNeese was like doing anything special. They just like decided, like, okay, we have much better athletes than you do, so we're gonna do our thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, LSU is 3 spots ahead of McNeese and KenPom. If LSU were down 18 to Corpus Christi and came back to win, what?
I don't think they'd come back.
No, they wouldn't. But my point is, if LSU were down 18 and came back to beat Corpus Christi, people wouldn't talk about it like it was a comeback. They would talk about it like, oh my God, LSU survived.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I feel McNeese did. They just kind of had more talent, and at the end of the day, they had more points.
Like, I've seen McNeese like once or twice this year before tonight. Like, I haven't watched
this was not one of their better performances.
I haven't watched them play a Southland game until tonight. I might not watch them play a Southland game until the conference tournament at this point. Unless like they're playing a close game with somebody and I just turn it on.
Yeah, I mean, their next.
But my point is,
they don't have a game until Saturday, February 17th. That's under 79% win probability.
My point is, though, if you watch the second half of tonight's game, you like understand why there is currently, and hold on, I'm fact checking this to make sure. You understand why there's a 24% chance for them to run the table in the Southland. Like, they are just like so much better than everyone else in that league.
They're just longer, faster, stronger, more athletic, more physical. Like, they have like the similar, like, aside from like a couple of their guys, it's a lot of similar basketball skill level.
Mm-hmm.
Because these dudes, a lot of them are just real. I mean, McNeese is a defensive team in terms of their identity. Like, yeah, their offense is ranked higher than their defense, but their identity is their defense. Like,
their offense is ranked higher just because like they have better athletes than you do.
Yeah, like, but their identity is their defense, and they also have Shahada Wells, who's awesome.
Yeah, no, if you watch McNeese play, like, you understand that, like, strategically and fundamentally, they are a defensive team first, offensive team second. But like, they have like Shahada Wells has been unbelievable this year. It's absolutely no one's surprise. This is a guy that scored 25 freaking points in a 20-point win for TCU at Allen Fieldhouse last year. Like, what is he 17. Doing in the Southland?
17.
Sorry. You get my point.
He was KenPom game MVP at Allen Fieldhouse.
He is one of 18 KenPom game MVPs in Bill Self's tenure at Allen Fieldhouse that doesn't play for Kansas.
I
And
mean,
now
yeah,
he's
this
playing
is
at
the guy
McNeese.
who's top 10 in the country in steal rate. He's got a 36% assist rate to a 14% turnover rate in conference.
If you go look at his KenPom page, there's a lot of yellow on it.
There's a lot of yellow. He's unbelievable. I mean, how much longer are we going to talk about the Southland?
This might be the last time for a while. So anything you want to get out? Now's the time.
I thought A&M Corpus Christi didn't seem like they had any sort of their offense looked bad.
I mean, their offense is bad.
Like, I thought, like, I was surprised because I remember last year they were a really good offensive team. I know they lost Murdix and Tennyson and Mushila and, like, all their great players, but, like, Jim Shaw was an assistant under Lutz. And I'm not really plugged into the Southland. I kind of just thought it was going to be, like, a continuation of the same type of identity. But, no, they're like a walking brick, but they're really good at defense.
Lutz is at WKU now, right?
Yeah, and he's doing a good job. They're 13-6.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, if you know about these two teams, like, you kind of figured this one was going to be ugly, but it's past.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think this is what Corpus Christi was like 2 hours ago, like 4 hours ago. I didn't do enough research on them.
No, I didn't either, and then I quickly found out. Like, this is what
they were
are.
Very fast last year, and like they were exciting. I thought them and Northwestern State were very fun in the Southland last year. I remember watching that game because it was DeMarcus Sharp, Jamonta Black against like Tennyson and Murdix and Mushila and Jalen Jackson and DeLazaris Keys. I liked Corpus Christi last year because they were fun. This year they're not fun, but whatever.
I mean, they don't play that
they're
much.
Still really good. They're still the second best team in that conference.
They don't play that much slower than they did last year, and like it kind of showed. Like they did a good job in the first half, at least, breaking the McNeese press.
No, that game was a total rock fight though in the first half. It was very physical, bodies flying. And both teams seemed like they were okay with it.
Yeah.
I think like having not watched much of the rest of this conference, it's hard to imagine that anybody else in this league has even the athletes that Corpus Christi does, because those were some big dudes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Moving on. It's time to talk about our best friend, and it's time to talk about Johnny Furphy, because Kansas has a new most important player.
Yeah. If you guys saw my Twitter tonight, you will have seen that I updated my college basketball player power rankings. Johnny Furphy has taken the second spot, right behind Big Z. So, yeah, but in all seriousness, like, he was great tonight. Hit shots, rebounded. I mean, he's simply put, like you said, become Kansas's most important player.
Yeah, no, I just look at what Kansas has. Like, you know what you're getting from Dickinson. You know what you're getting from McCullough. You know what you're getting at this point, and it's not pretty from DeJuan Harris. And you texted me it's time to have an uncomfortable conversation about DeJuan Harris. Like, do you want to have that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of pressure on him. He didn't have to do as much last year. Like, they had other guys that could make plays. They had a much deeper bench. Like, I was watching this game tonight, and like something that was going through my head is like, this team really misses Joseph Yesufu. They might even miss Bobby Pettiford a little bit.
Yeah,
like, they have nobody to back him up.
They missed the ability to take DeJuan off the floor because they don't have a backup point guard. Like, they straight up don't.
And you could play Jalen Wilson at the point last year too.
Like, look at their backcourt off the bench. Like, look at their bench in general. 13, 10, 2, and 2. That's all they got from their bench. A total of 27 minutes.
And like Marco Jackson has a 24.9 turnover rate. So like you can't even try him at the point guard.
I mean, it's unfortunate because the top 3 players on this Kansas team, McCullough, Dickinson, and KJ Adams, are remarkable. But everything else hasn't quite fallen in place. Tonight is a great step in that direction with how good Furphy was, I would say. Just getting another guy. And he's the best shooter on this team. Johnny Furphy's the best shooter on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to be too critical here, so I'll give the credit where credit's due first. If Johnny Furphy is good consistently for them, Kansas's short-term in-game issues are, I wouldn't say non-existent, but mostly solved. However, Kansas's starters tonight played 37, 36, 35, 35, and 30 minutes. We have talked so much about Kansas doesn't have depth. Kansas doesn't have a bench to go to. How about the fact that like Kansas might just run out of gas? You can't do this in the Big 12 the rest of the year.
I don't think you can do it in the Big 12 that long in general. I'm very, very concerned about.
I don't know what happened there.
I'm very, very concerned about Kansas's long-term stability. What if one of the starters gets hurt?
Yeah, and like I hate to play the what if game with injuries, but like with them, it's more realistic than anybody else. Like
because the guys are playing 34 minutes a game.
And like, what if you have to go back to Marco Jackson? Like, what happens then?
Yeah, but like, what if it's McCullough or Dickinson that gets hurt?
This like you have, I mean Parker Brown. Like no, you have nothing behind those guys.
Trivia time.
Okay.
One power conference team fewer bench minutes than Kansas. Who?
One power conference team fewer bench minutes than Kansas.
I'll give you a hint. They are not having a good season.
That is the Louisville Cardinals.
It is not.
Paul.
No.
Oregon State?
No. Not that bad.
Okay.
Just for the standard of the program, it's really bad.
That is the Georgetown Hoyas.
Also, their coach might have punched someone.
Juwan. Oh, Michigan.
Yes. Yeah, it's Michigan.
The fighting Juwan Howards. Pun fully intended.
The actual fighting Juwan Howards. Yeah, Michigan.
Fully intended.
Michigan is 4th last in the country in bench minutes. The only teams lower. Can you name any of them?
No. I mean,
Ball State, Tulane, and Princeton. Princeton's dead last in bench minutes.
Yeah, but Princeton also has like 4 of the 8 best players in the Ivy League.
Yeah, and also they have Dalen Davis coming on strong. Jack Scott's good, and hopefully they got Devin Austin back.
Like with Marco Jackson was playing 20 plus minutes a game like 2 weeks ago. His last two games, he barely combined for 20 minutes.
Kansas has a lot of problems. What did you think of Cincinnati tonight?
I think they're tough. I think they're overall pretty well coached.
Yeah, I like West. I think West is really good.
Like this is for the most part a pretty disciplined team, in my opinion. Like they just don't have the talent to like win these kinds of games yet.
Yeah, and like it's why they're 2-4 in the conference, but they're probably going to be 4-4 because their next two games are UCF at home and then at Morgantown.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look up and you're 4-4 on February 1st, that's pretty impressive if you're Wes Miller in year one. They'll probably finish what, 8-10, 7-11, but that's better than what I think what a lot of us thought they would do.
Listen, first year 101, Ken Pom, second year 50. Right now they're 33. Like this has been improvement every single year, and now they're recruiting better. They're getting some real talent
Tyler
in
Betsy's
here.
coming in.
Yeah, Betsy's coming in next year. Already got two guards that you'll probably are going to work with next year. Program is heading in the right direction, just not quite at the level that like Mick Cronin had them at. But
yeah, and like look at it. You can have Day Thomas back next year. You can have Jizzle James back next year. You can have Dan Skillings back next year. You can have Seamus Lukosius back next year. And you can have Victor Locken back next year. Those guys all have eligibility remaining.
My question with or not really a question, but my theory with Cincinnati is like you've already inserted an identity. You already have a system in place that works. What's going to happen when that system has like legit talent in it?
Yeah, I think they're going to be really. I think that's good. I think that's a good program. They just didn't have enough tonight.
Yeah, Wes has already instituted what he had at UNC Greensboro, which is his teams are a pain in the ass to play against. They rebound, they defend. Like they're not fun to play against at all.
Yeah, I like Wes. I think he's a great coach.
He will be in my top 50. I can't remember if he was in my top 50 last summer, but I know he was 2 summers ago.
One more game that we kind of have to talk about. RJ Davis dropped 36.
Mm-hmm.
But he was not the player you came away from this game most impressed by, Jonathan. Who was that?
The player I came away most impressed by tonight was Elliot Cadeau, who continues to be a star.
Superstar.
Yeah. Like putting it very simply. He had only had 3 assists tonight actually, but was getting to the basket at will, scoring in transition, moving RJ Davis to the 2. Hubert Davis realizing like a month into the year that he needs to start at the 1. Best thing that could have happened to this team. I hate to say it, but they're a step above the rest of the ACC right now.
After the Villanova game was when Elliot Cadeau was inserted into the starting lineup. Since November 24th. Let me find it.
Once you do, I have a question for you. But yeah, he's like
since Elliot Cadeau was entered into the starting lineup. Google's Torvik's really slow for me right now. Are they slow for you?
What date is it? I can find it.
November 24. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Number 5 in the country.
Since Elliot Cadeau's been inserted to the starting lineup.
And they were not that high before that.
Can I tweet that out or do you want to?
You do it after the show.
Okay.
North Carolina with Elliot Cadeau is really good. What is your question?
My question is, can you remember a reclass freshman guard being this good?
No.
Like, I won't even narrow it down to point guard because I don't think I need to.
Not off the top of my head. We'll do some research tonight. We'll get the research team involved. Research team is me and you.
Yeah.
But
we work hard here at Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers.
Yeah. I mean, the only even look. I mean, he's no Zvonimir Ivasic.
Oh no,
We'll put it. We'll go there. But
it's been quite the couple days for the international freshman, and then there's Mick Cronin who's still yelling at reporters.
yeah, you can win with international kids provided PDT tweeted about them.
you
PDT better scout than Mick Cronin? Question mark.
Dude, better scout than anybody.
He knows everyone. He
By the
found
way,
that random kid who was committed to the D2 school, and he got him D1 offers in 3 days.
On the subject, by the way, did you see like Sean Paul was tweeting about the NFL last night, and Sweeney commented and was like, "I fully expected this to be about a Mac player."
That was such a good. I sent that tweet to you.
I forgot. You sent a lot of things to me. I forgot that.
That was so excellent.
Oh my god. Anything else on the Wake Forest side of this?
I like them, but not as much as you.
Yeah, I like them a lot, but I will admit their defense is probably not where it needs to be. Like they led at the half tonight, and UNC is just way better than Wake Forest and a lot of teams right now, frankly. But I like them because you really can't prepare for what they have in the backcourt. Like, who has 3 guards that can score like Wake Forest guards do? And then you add Damari Monsanto into the picture, and they get even better.
Yeah, no, they're a good team offensively. I just don't think they're very good at defense.
Like, they are not nearly as good as how I talk about them, but like that's a team that I probably like. We'll start talking about unique teams here in the next couple weeks. I'd consider them part of that group.
There's a lot of unique teams this year, honestly. It does feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look through it to definitely agree with you, but
like I think almost every team is unique in their own way.
Yeah, but like when we say that, it's more referencing either a unique system that not many teams run or a unique personnel group that you can't prepare for.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think Wake Forest fits that mold.
All right. Last thing. Any last words on tonight?
No, I paid attention to 3 games tonight. Did Hofstra end up beating Stony Brook?
They did. D Stone had 30 and 11. Keegan Records had 9 points and was KenPom game MVP. Okay. Colgate got a win. They're 6-1 in the Patriot League, a game behind the surprising Lafayette Leopards. That game, though, Lehigh was without Sinclair and Higgins. Those are 2 of their top guys. Tomorrow night, big game, Houston, BYU, Kentucky, South Carolina, Ohio State, Nebraska, Florida State, Syracuse. I will be at the second half of that game. Bonnie's and Duquesne. We are a couple days away from the Basketball Iron Bowl, which is going to be epic
and a couple days away from you know what.
McNeese isn't playing Mississippi University for women again.
No, but in 3 days we will be fearing the Phoenix again.
Apparently that's the Twitter account.
It is?
Apparently.
Oh, I knew it was their slogan.
I just thought it was something you came up with on the fly.
No. I cannot take credit for that. I will take credit for Red Blue FAU, but I won't take credit for that.
Red
Blue
FAU.
Memphis is
not a tournament team.
Not a tournament team. That's where we'll go with this. We'll stay away from other convos around them.
All right, you want to take us out of here, Jonathan?
Yep, if you came to hear about where Tyler Self is currently working, you came to the right place. If you came tonight to hear about Australians going off in Allen Fieldhouse, you definitely came to the right place. And if you came to hear about what is going on in Caleb Grill's life, well, you came to the right place. This is Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers, Season 4, Episode 32. We will see you